Good morning, everyone. DeRollo Nixon from Nixon Disability Law. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you joining us to kick off Veterans Month. That's a month-long celebration of veterans and their service in which we will be providing you important information, history, trivia, and other data related to veterans disability, and to Social Security disability benefits for veterans. Now, the history of Veterans Day is quite interesting. It didn't start off as Veterans Day. It started off as Armistice Day because on Monday, November 11th, at 11 in the morning, there was an armistice or a ceasefire between the Allies, which included the United States, the United Kingdom, and France, and Germany. So at the time, it was called the Great War. It wasn't called World War I yet, but that's what it would later be called because of the second set of, conflicts that would come. Anyway, an armistice was signed that day and fighting ceased. Now, the war itself wouldn't end until June of the following year with the Treaty of Versailles being signed by then President Woodrow Wilson. Anyway, which you may recall, that treaty actually wasn't ratified by the U.S. Senate, which is required by our Constitution. The president can't just go somewhere and sign a treaty and bind the United States to a certain course of action or prohibit us from doing another course of action. The U.S. Senate has to ratify those treaties, and they declined to ratify the Treaty of Versailles. Anyway, so Armistice Day, as Veterans Day was originally called, was celebrated around the world, and beginning the following year, President Wilson himself made a proclamation related to Armistice Day. And in June of 1926, Congress passed a resolution making Armistice Day a recurring anniversary. Did not make it a federal holiday, that's something else. Making Armistice Day a recurring anniversary, where what Congress said should be done was, quote, that it should be commemorated, quote, with thanksgiving and prayer and exercises designed to perpetuate peace and mutual understanding between nations, period, close quote. So that's how Veterans Day itself got started, and that, of course, is going to anchor Veterans Month. Veterans Day is still celebrated on November 11th, and there are some details we might cover in a later episode about what happens when that falls on a weekend. But anyway, it's now a federal holiday. It's been a federal holiday since 1938, which means pre-World War II. Anyway, thank you for joining us. That's a little bit of history about Veterans Month, right, which is anchored by Veterans Day. We're going to continue to provide information through this channel this month and across our social media about just, key facts and statistics that relate to things like Veterans Day. In fact, if you're viewing this in a post because you're on Facebook and not on our YouTube channel, and of course I ask you guys to like and follow our YouTube channel, like and follow our Facebook page. That would be awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. We have some key facts below that relate to veterans, veteran service during some of these wars, some of the wars in the 20th century, in the 21st century, and it's just important information for the viewing public to have. One of the challenges that I see as a VA disability lawyer is that the community at large doesn't have very much interaction with veterans. The community at large doesn't furnish large amounts of their sons and daughters to join the military and serve, either at home or abroad during wartime or even during peacetime. And that was not the case, as if you look at the statistics, you can see that was not the case during World War II. During World War II, the total amount of mobilized veterans, male and female, was 16 million. That's just the United States, 16 million, okay? In one form or another, in one type of service related to the military during the Second World War. That touched all communities, period, without exception, period. And that, of course, is the opposite of how things are now. How things are now, you could probably go through, and many of us did go through elementary school, middle, high school, and graduate and not interact with a single peer who was going to join the military, not know families who had serving members other than, our teachers, because some of them were Vietnam veterans. I remember some of my teachers. I think Mr. Ponus was one. There's some others who were, and Mr. Ponus didn't teach me. He was in the same school, but he wasn't the only veteran who was in our school who taught. But they would have been, Vietnam veterans for the most part. Maybe some Korea War ones, but probably not. Anyway, that's not the case now. Now, large swaths of America, you don't have very much interaction with veterans, and that is a shame. It also makes it hard to understand the challenges that veterans and their families go through. I have a friend who I knew during my years in Korea, and of course, on the Korean Peninsula, the entire U.S. 8th Army was there when I was there, and I was there in the 21st century. So my understanding is it's still there. But anyway, that doesn't even include the naval presence that is there in Busan and across the water in Japan. A friend of mine actually fell in love and got married towards the end of my years in Korea, and her husband continues to serve in the United States Army, and so they have lived all over the world. And so I get to see on Facebook just the challenges that they face as a family, just having to relocate from time to time, predictably relocate from time to time across the world. Anyway, I take my hat off to them. It's service that helps us and promotes, protects our freedom, promotes freedom around the world. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. It also teaches me about the types of sacrifices that veterans' families have to go through. Those things aren't always advertised, okay? And we're not talking about, wounded veterans, okay? Just any veteran serving. They're the sacrifices that a family will go through. So we take our hats off to y'all. Appreciate it very much. Anyway, so Veterans Month, stay tuned. There's going to be more information, more dialogue, and I look forward to helping you have a better understanding of veterans and how we can serve them in our communities going forward. Thank you.